It is 5:30. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We have a quorum, 6 of 7. Absent tonight is Betsy. Additions, adjustments to the agenda. I'm not aware of any. Okay. Then we will move on to consent agenda. Approved minutes of July 16th, 2026.
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Abstention? 6-0.
Audience with the public?
Nothing. Right? And there are no action items tonight, so we will move right on to other items.
All right. Good afternoon, all. Before I get into it, I think everybody knows them by now, but Sarah Davis and Marisol Robbins, Mariners with the Transportation Department, and Sarah does everything, so it's awesome. It's been a busy summer. We're starting to crank towards the end of it, and just wanted to give you kind of where we stand now in the district by way of the projects that we've got going on. As we go through this, we've got a couple of different things. You've got this slide is number one that we'll be going through. We've got some information on our biomass building, and the final piece that we have is a presentation that was just sent out from the Department of Education on alternative fuels. As you read this, Energy Efficiency Investment, our energy savings company that we co-op with, we're one of their primary sources for their information. So EEI is quickly gaining a pretty good reputation in the state of Maine, which is good to see. A lot of good information in this. I won't insult your intelligence by reading it to you, but there's some good stuff in here as far as the cost. There's various sources for heating a 200,000 square building, 200,000 square foot building. Why that number is important is when you combine the high school and the middle school, you're right at about 200,000 square feet. So that gives you kind of an idea on that sort of thing. And there's just a lot of other good information that you have in there for you to read at some point. Getting back to the projects for the summer, starting off at the high school, our asbestos remediation is done for the summer. We've still got some sections of hallway just off from the teachers' parking lot. There's a couple of rooms down in the IA wing. There's some areas under the science lab tables that we will handle next year, as well as a few offices down off the athletic wing. But we're certainly well over 90% completed at this point. Next summer, they will complete that remediation. This company is the same one that will be doing our excavation for sewer line replacement next summer. So that'll be good. They'll be right here. They'll be able to handle both simultaneously. So that's good news there. The biomass building. So we've got the walls, the pad, everything is poured, and we are projected to have vertical construction commence tomorrow. That had been delayed. We were looking at it earlier this week, and it got delayed from their job they were doing last over to the west of us, out of our state. So, but anyways, we're hoping that they're going to be on the ground and it'll start tomorrow. And it sounds like once they get started, then it's not going to take a super long time to get it to complete the building. It's a sizable building. It's going to be interesting to see what this. It's big. So, and then finally our gang cleaning. I had mentioned before that our high school custodians I had farmed out to the other schools for cleaning. And this past week and this week, we've been bringing custodians in from the other schools in to help with the high school. And so we're working through the progress, through the system. I have also purchased 2 pieces of equipment. One is like an auto scrubber, only it's a cylinder, and that goes this way versus around like a record player, and then a sweeper, basically a big 4 or 5 foot wide sweeper, kind of designed specifically for concrete floors. I figured if we're gonna have these for a couple of years, that we probably might as well invest in a piece of, in some equipment that'll take care of that, is, you know, expedite it and make it as easy as possible on the custodial staff. So we'll continue to work, and we'll probably be still working right up till, as the kids are coming in the building, and it will be a work in progress throughout the year, for sure. The Dominic Middle School, we just finished up, we replaced the water treatment system at Madomic Middle School. Same company that did the high school's system. It's a sight to behold. There's a lot of moving parts that go into water treatment these days. But anybody who's at the middle school, you should ask to take a look at it. It's pretty awesome. Miller School. So the big project at the middle school was obviously our catch basins and sewer line project. As I had presented to you, that had grown in scope after the code enforcement officer, after we initially unearthed everything, that they completed the installation and we paved the parking lot yesterday.
Nice.
And they'll be doing the line striping tomorrow. So that will be up and running. It looks awesome. They did, the whole, that project came out as good as I could have hoped for.
Awesome.
Very pleased with it, very pleased. And, line striping, so Warren Community School, another big project that we had, the access road, that was completed yesterday with paving on that as well. So that's ready to go. The new school zone lights, the bases were set today. The school zone lights themselves will be installed tomorrow, and the previous school zone lights will be decommissioned. So we're gonna be ready to go with Warren. At Union, as we've already talked about, the slide was replaced out on the playground, and we continue with our controls upgrade. Prescott, we've got, next week we'll be busy. We've done some demo on the sidewalk out front. We'll be, and have poured the cement footers, I believe. I haven't been there. I was there yesterday, it was they were getting started. I don't know if you noticed them when you drove by or not.
No, I didn't see it, but people in town are very excited.
Okay, yeah, they definitely are. I heard a lot about the sidewalks at Prescott, there's no question about it. So Monday, they will be finishing, Monday, Tuesday, they'll be finishing the front sidewalk at Prescott. And simultaneous to that, they will be replacing not the front doors at Prescott, but the doors to the left. It's a double set of doors that they had run their life. And we need to do some work on the frames and stuff, and so those will be replaced simultaneously. And at Friendship, speaking of slides, we just got that delivered today, and so we'll be getting that installed here hopefully before school starts. And then finally, we're bringing in the whole crew next Tuesday for training. We've got Cleanorama, who is we get our chemicals and our equipment from. They're gonna be coming in and doing some training on just that, on chemicals, equipment, best practices, that sort of thing. Probably have some pizza and then do also, some of our mandatory training. We are also making it available for them to participate Wednesday in the district-wide. They're doing some mandatory training, and so they can participate in that as well, if they'd like to get that done. Any questions on the facility side of the house?
Brian, is everything done with the generator at Prescott as well?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it sure is, yeah. I don't know if I thought I presented that previously, but maybe not. I sometimes miss on what I've posted online and what I've actually presented officially. But yes, the generator came out great. If you haven't seen that, you should swing up by, they did a really nice job with that.
And can I ask Brian, how many of our schools now have generators?
3,
Okay,
Union Elementary School, Warren Community School, and Prescott.
mm-hmm.
Union and Warren are both Red Cross fallout shelters.
Okay,
The impact of that on us is that the towns pay for all the maintenance
okay,
on the generators. We're responsible for the fuel.
okay,
At Prescott, obviously, because there's no agreement with the town, with Red Cross, we'll be responsible for all.
okay, and how, maybe this isn't the appropriate time or place to ask, but how did those agreements come to be, and how would Washington move forward with that if they wanted, now that the generator is there?
So, I don't know about Union.
Okay.
Warren was established right from the initial bill that was identified. I can't speak for Union. We had the Red Cross who came in and spoke to you, me and Steve Nolan. How many years ago was that, when we were talking?
Probably about 3 or 4
Yeah,
years ago.
3 or 4 years
And they were
ago,
gonna
but-
come back and give us a lot of information, and they kind of never came back.
So, I certainly think that that's something that we could look into.
Yeah.
The Red Cross is kind of the driving
Okay,
force in that. I don't know with the proximity to the Union School, but I certainly think that there should be some sort of a relationship between the town and the school for that, since it is a school that offers kitchen services.
Yep.
It's a warming station and that sort of thing, but,
okay,
um,
alright, so maybe, we can reach out and I'll reach out to you to continue the conversation about that, okay. And then I'll.
Yeah.
I believe in Union, when that whole thing went on, it was the fire department that got in with the school to get that going, if I remember correctly.
okay.
Okay,
Emergency.
and you said because that then the town is responsible for the upkeep of the generator system?
So that's what the memorandum of understanding that we have with
Yep.
our two schools.
Mhm.
I don't know how much, I don't know what a normal, if that's outside the norms,
Okay,
if that's exactly what the normal one is. The key point on those, depending on what we want, is it's the Red Cross that's the authorizing authority
yep,
to to open one of these as a emergency center,
okay,
and not the town.
Not the town.
The town of Union can't do it. They
can't come open up the.
They
the
can't come and
school.
say, open up the school.
Okay,
It's the Red Cross, and that there's a notification process that they have to follow.
okay,
And then we are responsible for a response time to that as well.
okay.
Yeah.
Alright, thanks.
Any other questions on facility stuff? All right, moving over to transportation. Pending CHRC, we've hired a bus driver, Wayne Kirkpatrick here from Union, that will be joining us. That leaves us one bus driver short right now as it stands. We are working through some options that we have. As it currently stands, we have 3 bus drivers in Warren and we have 5 in Waldeboro. Normally we have 4 in Warren. And so we are going through the evaluation of, is it better to go with 3 buses in Warren and stick with 5 in Waldeboro, or to move one of the buses over from Waldeboro to Warren and run 4 and 4. Either way, one town is gonna be down 1. Obviously, from somebody looking at it from afar, they're gonna say, why does Waldeboro have 5 potentially and Warren have 3? So we're looking at that. At first glance, it looks like running Warren with 3 buses is going to have less impact on the students and the amount of time that they spend on the buses than going with 4 buses in Waldeboro.
Sure.
With that being said, there is some construction going on in Warren at the beginning of the year that is gonna affect at least one of the bus runs for sure. Step in there, Sarah, if you hear me saying something that's wrong. And so we are evaluating that right now. We have, on paper, we've turned it into a 3 bus run. One of the challenges that we're having is if we're gonna have enough room on 3 buses to transport, particularly the high school, middle school, is the one that we've got in question. So more information to follow, but we're working that through vigorously. And we do have a new bus arriving next week, so there's the good news. And then, much like the facilities that we're doing next Tuesday, next Wednesday, we have got to be doing training at the transportation department. That includes a couple of different categories. But there's the seizure training, some first aid training, and then again, some of the mandatory training that we have that comes down from the district.
Brian, the new bus, the bus that's getting replaced, do we keep that as part of the fleet and then run it for breakdowns?
But we keep it as a backup bus, for sure. Yep, absolutely. And then we bring one off the backup bus group, we'll drop one of those off.
And what becomes of that?
Couple of different things, depending on what condition it's in. A lot of times we'll sell them. We tried to get one to trade in on this new bus, and they wouldn't take it.
Imagine that.
I mean, there's just not a lot of market for them. All schools are all the same standard. Usually it's a civil organization of some sort that will take it on. You know, a church group, a club, a camp, something like that, that will take one on. So we'll see what happens.
Sometimes we sell them for scrap after
Yes.
we've taken off the things we want.
Yep.
Other times we'll do a closed bid and people will take them for storage or whatever if they're not drivable.
Right. How is the rest of the bus fleet looking?
We're doing good. We had the state that came in. I think that I believe that I presented the last time that they had been in. And so we're working through, we had one issue on, actually Matt Simmons' bus on one of the emergency exit windows that it operated out fine. It was closing it back up where there was the problem. So we're working on that, but beyond that, there was nothing significant. Obviously stuff that we need to fix, it's all can potentially be significant, but there was nothing that took a bus off the road.
I think we're keeping most of our buses under, 12 years old, I think, is about where we're at, except for,
We're trying. I honestly don't know what our oldest bus that we've got in the fleet is right now.
I think we might have a few spares older than that,
So,
last I looked.
any other questions on, yes, sir?
You said we were short one bus driver. How are we doing for bus drivers for sports trips? I know they haven't, of course, haven't started yet, but.
I'm glad to see where your priority is, Danny. So we have a primary sports trip driver who handles the vast majority of them. And then we've got a number of active drivers as well as backup drivers that handle it. So both Lee Robbins and Darlene, thank you, have offered, not Darlene, the other Warren driver. Wendy, thank you, Daggett, have agreed they'll be coming back and driving back up and stuff, so there is some hope as well. What's that?
She just retired.
She did indeed. So I think Lee is probably gonna be willing to come back and drive. I think that our problem, if we can't find a fourth driver, I think that we will probably, between Lee and Wendy, will be able to fill that fourth run fairly soon. Lee has got some out-of-country trips that he's gotta participate in, and Wendy does as well. Well, yeah, it is, but it's a Band-Aid, and obviously sometimes you gotta fight the 5-meter threat rather than the 100-meter threat, but, we gotta get a better solution. I mean, we're all in the same boat. I've been talking with RSU 13, I've been talking with, Maggie Massengale at Camden, and everybody's short. Camden's down 3 drivers right now. 13 is down several drivers. I don't know what the exact count is. And so it's we're all, and it's everywhere, nationwide. I mean, everybody's having the same problems. And we had an individual that was gonna come in from another school district and had agreed to come on board, and his sick time that he has accrued in the other district, he was gonna lose that. And so he ended up not coming across. So we'll keep plugging away. We'll keep working at it and seeing if we can't do it. I had said before that I was gonna hold off. We had the 2 new van drivers that the board approved during my last budget, during this last budget cycle. We are continuing to hold off on that for the time being, hiring them. Although our numbers are getting, our van transportation student numbers are climbing dramatically right now. Rough numbers, Sarah, on the elementary run, you told me?
44 for the middle school, high school, and over 70 for the elementary.
And just so you know, we can probably do, 4 kids in an elementary if they're in car seats?
Yeah, that's where it gets a little bit sticky because the majority of them are in car seats or booster seats, and it's really challenging to fit the third kiddo in between 2 car seats in the back, depending on their size. So a lot of our vans are limited to 4. And it's hard to fit 70 students in 7 vans and 2 little buses.
And with the 6th graders going up to the middle school, that's lost what little bit of 12-year-olds that we've got that can ride in the front seat legally. And so now that passenger seat is not occupied at all. So and that's another seat that we, for all intents and purposes, that we lose on our elementary ones.
And then we have 4-year-olds this year, 3-year-olds next year? Wait, what
Well,
is that?
we've had 4-year-olds in pre-K,
Yeah, we've
these are
got-
just special education 4-year-olds.
Right, but that, and then 3-year-olds will be next year? Okay. That will also be in vans?
So I don't know if the 3-year-olds will be coming with IEPs in place with transportation. I think that personally, if we put 3-year-olds on buses, we are absolutely setting ourselves up for failure. I think that even 4-year-olds is a huge challenge. They're not old enough to understand. One of our, Dave Jacoby, who was one of our drivers in Waldeboro a couple years ago, talked about a 4-year-old. She would come up and just, all of a sudden, he'd be driving along and she'd be like standing there next to him with her hand on his arm.
Yeah.
Be like, whoa, what's going on? Not trying to be malicious,
Yeah.
just didn't understand. And so, I
Or they're
think that,
buckled in any other vehicle they're
Right.
riding,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
so, and they're too small they can't have their feet on the floor. There's a lot of other things that go along with that as well.
They can't even get up the steps.
No,
No, they
that's
use their
right,
hands.
that is exactly
Yeah, truly.
right. So,
Right.
I think that when that time comes, I think that we've gotta have a serious conversation about how to do that.
Are the vans predominantly utilized for kids in special education programs, or is it also filling voids in the bus routes?
So, generally speaking, we've got IEP students that have special transportation in their IEP. We've got McKinney-Vento students are homeless. We've got foster children that we are transporting. And then the last group that is maybe a dozen students are students that live in high danger areas to stop the bus. We've got a couple on Route 1 south of Dow's Furniture that just every time that the bus stopped for them to come, cars were just blowing right by them. And so a lot of those kids, a few of those kids we also transport by van. The exact breakdown, I don't have right here in front of me, but it's always, the IEP is the vast majority. McKinney-Vento, Foster is the next, and then I think last year it was 20 or so. McKinney-Vento, does that sound about right, Sarah? Am I underestimating? Yeah, we ended up with, near 120 that we were transporting between little buses and vans. As of right now, some of our long distance McKinney-Vento students will not be needing transportation for this year, for one way or the other. Students from up Lincolnville Way, and then a student from down Westport Island, which is down off from Wiscasset. So that's some big miles that we won't be traveling, which is helpful, but it's still, we still have some others that are out there a little bit. Anything else? All right, there were some questions, last month on the biomass building and just how we got here. I have done, this is a document from EEI, our energy savings company, that gives a little bit of background. And this is a document that kind of breaks down the average cost for various heating sources. And then we took those numbers and we kind of showed what that looks like in real time. The high school last year, we rounded up, they did it 38,000 gallons of oil, which was about $115,000, which gave us, 5.5 million BTUs. That same amount in wood chips is right around $20,000, a little over $20,000. And then the same for the MMS. And so when you take this, the initial, we get $300,000 for the biomass, and then we have a yearly reoccurring rebate. And so that yearly reoccurring tax or credit that we get is going to put our operating costs close to zero. It's not gonna be zero, and I don't wanna, until we actually see it operate, we don't know what it's gonna operate on. But given the numbers that we have to go on, the credits that we get each year will help to almost 100% offset the cost of the biomass itself. Now, that doesn't help offset, obviously, the initial cost that we're getting into this, which is about $4 million. There was Seth and I had a conversation earlier today about how we came to that conclusion. I would be lying if I didn't tell you that we deferred to energy efficiency investments and their group of engineers. In large part, there was some criteria that we went by. First and foremost, we knew we had to upgrade the Dominic Valley High School water treatment system. So we knew we were gonna have to put whatever heating system that we were gonna have at the high school, we were gonna have to build a building for it. There was no question that we had to do that. We knew it was gonna have to be a big building because it was gonna have to have a primary and an alternate heating source. And then when we get to biomass, and you have to have storage space for it, that made it that much bigger building. And then as they got looking at the heating needs to move over and take over Madonic Middle School as well, it started making a lot of sense to go with biomass versus some of the other alternative energy products. The great detail, and Seth is clearly far smarter than I am on alternative energy products. I would have to defer until Monday when Kerry Worms and some of the other EEI folks are here for greater detail into some of your questions, Seth, to get those answered. But that is some information for you. Hopefully that the numbers prove correct. That reminds me that next Monday, we're gonna be doing tours of the high school. We have one from 4 to 5:30 and the other one from 6 to 7:30. We did a tour today with the superintendent, Karen, and we had Finn there, and we had Tim there as well.
And Julie.
And Julie, yes, that's right. And so, did a tour around, and it was just about an hour and a half exactly by the time that we got done. So, I think that gives us enough time. And I don't know what anybody's thoughts were, but, there's a lot of work going into that high school right now. And this is the first of what's gonna be 3 years or 3 summers of a lot of work. So, it definitely doesn't look pristine by any stretch of the imagination. It doesn't have mop boards, it's a cement floor. But we're gonna try to keep it as clean and make it look as nice as we can.
Do you have like a rough idea of like how soon the construction costs will be offset by the fuel savings? Because the fuel savings is pretty substantial.
I don't. to be honest with you, until the first year, when actually it would be probably year 2, that we've run both schools on it. Because this upcoming winter, we'll only be running the high school. And then next summer, we'll connect the middle school. So I think that it's gonna take probably 2 or 3 years before we really get a feel on what the total cost of ownership of this thing, of this system is gonna be over 20 or 30 years. Hope that the Frolin system, which is what they're telling us, 30 years is what we can expect. I hope that's the case. The cast iron boilers, sectional boilers, I mean, we've got some, well, the ones at Miller School were like 50 years old when we finally replaced them. I can't say they were going strong, but they were still going.
Brian, can I ask how often we're gonna be getting, like in the back of this building, is this where the chips are stored, you know what I mean? And how often we're gonna be getting a delivery of chips, like how often?
30 loads a year.
30 loads a year? Okay,
30 loads a winter, so basically
Okay.
weekly we'll get a load,
Okay.
more or less.
okay. And and it's like if we, I mean,
That's estimated, that's what we're going on based on the school's use
okay,
and the output of the biomass, what it produces.
mhm,
Don't know about energy loss, just, that sort of thing, heating loss. But we're expecting, I think it was 28, 30 loads, something like that.
Okay.
We'd be getting.
and are we getting it, I mean, obviously this is a little more sophisticated than like when I've come home to my own house and my propane has run out and my house is cold, but like when we start getting like low on chips or whatever, are we getting them locally or is there just in the beginning when we're working out like how much mass we're gonna be going through?
Jefferson
Okay, cool,
is where we're getting our stuff from.
yep,
I can't tell you the name of the company
Yeah.
because it's, I haven't thought of it lately, but it's
Yeah.
Jefferson that we're getting it. And,
okay,
that's also why we have the backup propane boilers.
yeah,
I mean, that's the great thing about that system is we will have that, and that can kick on and provide 100% heating to
okay,
both buildings, just like the biomass building does.
okay,
And is this just a large hopper?
yeah,
Correct,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, it has a kind of an articulating arm that will pull stuff into the hopper as well. There's some moving parts on this thing, I've seen sketches of it. I have not seen one fully in operation, I'm kind of looking forward to it, but this one's been around for a while, and so.
So Larry's not gonna be in there with a shovel.
Larry will not be in there with a shovel, that is right. No. Well, he'd be in there with a tractor.
Yeah.
Getting out of the tractor is pretty hard. So we're gonna get a little bit bigger tractor. It's gonna be a small front end loader as part of this that we have built into the cost to help move that. The tractor really isn't the product for moving biomass like that. You want something with a little bit bigger bucket and a little bit more horsepower behind you. So we will have that as well, to help move that, just to keep stuff cleaned up and pushed in closer.
I don't know if this is supposed to be in any way representative of what we're building, or are these just
No,
images?
I think it was an artist's idea, but basically that the facilities building you see to the side of it, that other tan building
yeah,
that you see,
Yeah.
my understanding is it's gonna look more like that.
So
but
is
just
it pitched,
longer.
conventional pitched roof?
Correct.
Have we thought about solar? Was it built into the budget, was it analyzed as part of offset for electrical, our own, probably something like 50 or 70K at least, solar array on that?
I don't remember specifically that we did or we did not.
It would need to have, the building would need to be oriented specifically to make use of that. If it's not, it's an opportunity loss, unfortunately. I was
Well,
wondering.
Yeah, I will tell you this, that the space that we had to put that building was pretty much limited to exactly what we've got. For soil quality as well as the tree farm that we have there. I mean, unfortunately, the property that we've got on that campus is pretty limited actual usable space.
Right, yeah, yeah. Okay.
But I would be happy to get you that, I will absolutely get with Carrie and ask.
Well, I'll come by on Monday, and we'll
Yeah,
see what
absolutely.
the orientation
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity, if it's roughly right, it'd be, it's just free money sitting there showering down on the roof, so.
Pending any questions? That's all I have.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
This has been a ridiculous summer. Made it happen.
You only have 2 more to go.
Yeah, just the beginning.
Sorry. All right.
Okay, everybody, it is 6:05. We are adjourned.
Thank you.